So we were teased by early spring, then a cold front came through, and now we're sort of back to cold, but I'm telling you, I can feel spring is in the air. And before it's actually officially here, I thought it'd be a good moment to show a Japanese maple. Yeah, I know, it doesn't make too much sense. Usually we think about Japanese maples and their beautiful foliage and their beautiful spring leaves that they put out, but this Japanese maple has a really cool winter feature that I wanted to get into a little bit before the spring did hit us and the leaves came out. This is Acer palmatum arakawa, or a rough bark Japanese maple. Check this out. It has a really rough barked finish to it. You see this, it's really interesting and neat all throughout the course of winter. What I find really unique is on the new growth, as it ages, it also develops this rough, almost warty looking bark. And if you didn't know any better, you think there was something wrong with your tree, but clearly there's not. It's the #1 defining characteristic of this cultivar. So the Acer palmatum arakawa is one of the few Japanese maples that even in winter, its architectural and bark structure is really interesting. In last week's garden diary, I talked about a conifer that's not doing that well for me, and now I'm going to talk about one that doesn't seem to be doing that well for anybody. This is Chamaecyparis obtusa golden sprite. Now, as you can see, it's a cute little bun-shaped plant with a golden top to it. Now, the problem being the golden top has gone burnt golden. Now, here's the issue. I have 3 of this plant, all in drastically different conditions. This one that you're seeing now is in half-day sun. This other one is in full-day sun. And this third one is in no sun, complete shade. That's the only one that isn't burning to some degree. Now here's the downside to that. It will eventually start to lose its golden characteristic if it's in total shade. So here's the question. Is this a conifer / plant that can do well in any condition and still maintain that golden topped characteristic? Now we'll see as the course of spring and summer if it rebounds at all, but from what I hear from other folks, this might be a habitual problem child conifer and not that great for anybody's growing conditions, but I'd like to hear from you. Maybe you've had better success with it than I have. Now, I'm not much for annuals and perennials. I'm a conifer, Japanese maple, vegetable, herb garden kind of guy, but I do have one bed up front here of daylilies and irises. Now, what I do with my daylilies and irises is, hold on. I don't do anything to them at all. Actually, daylilies and irises are both well known here in the state of Tennessee, some great cultivators of both here. Now, they're also referred to as ditch lilies in the state of Tennessee because they grow in pretty much any kind of soil condition whatsoever. And that's pretty much how I treat them. You can divide them every so often, and if you're an iris or daylily fan, that's something to look into. But for me, I just plant them in some soil and they seem perfectly happy. And as you can see, they know spring is coming. Stay with it, people. I'm telling you, it's right around the corner. If they know it, we'll see it soon. So I thought we'd end our second garden diary with a tree. This is the very first tree I ever planted. It's a weeping willow tree. As you can see, it's budding out for spring, and I'm sort of sentimental about it. No, the moment's passed. I'm really not that sentimental about it. I've decided to keep it where it's at because, well, it is the first tree, and I sort of go, well, it's the first tree, you know, what does that mean? I don't know. But I've decided to keep it for now. Many trees have been on the gotta go list and have since gone, but this one has remained. The only thing I would warn you a little bit about weeping willows is to sustain all that lateral branching that they have. They have a pretty extensive and aggressive root system. So if you're gonna plant them around other things, just keep that in mind. They're gonna be pretty competitive with them. So for now, my weeping willow friend will stay, and as you can see, it knows spring is in the air, and hopefully we'll all feel spring in the air.